Hello and welcome to this very special webinar on IBM's Diverse Partner Initiative and Supplier Diversity Program. Now, I'm your host, Philip W. Dunn, Program Manager here at USBC, and on behalf of our President, Ron Busby, our board, and our staff, I want to thank you all for registering to attend and for your continued support of USBC. Now, before we begin our program, I want to remind you to continue to register for our webinars at usblackchambers.org/webinars. I also want you to be sure to register for your business at buyblack.us. Now, today I have the esteemed honor and privilege to host this very special webinar featuring two outstanding representatives from our USBC corporate partner, IBM. First, let me tell you a little bit about why we're so proud of this partnership with IBM. IBM has a commitment to racial equality and to diverse business practices, which of course has been a long-standing practice dating back to 1899, when they hired their first Black employee and their first female employee. Now, that responsibility continued with their landmark actions, which include their commitment to diverse business relationships in 1964, the Supplier Diversity Program in 1968, and entering the diverse marketplace in 1992. So they know and they understand that a diverse partner ecosystem is smarter, it's more innovative, it's more collaborative. Now, their clients, they demand all of these attributes above all else. Now, the IBM Diverse Partner Initiative, it improves the entire ecosystem's ability to create and deliver world-class services and solutions. So now that's plenty about IBM, but let me tell you about these outstanding speakers that we have for today. Lisa King is the Federal Deputy Small Business Liaison Officer for IBM's Global Supplier Diversity Program and Finance and Operations. Now, Ms. King is responsible for managing IBM's compliance with federal small business subcontracting program and acquisition requirements. She's also responsible for mentor-protege programs and driving diversity and inclusion to expand IBM's ecosystem, qualified technical services and product suppliers. We also have Ralph Jacobson, who is the Principal Partner Recruitment Lead for the Diverse Partner Development Team within the IBM Partner ecosystem. Now, he's responsible for driving growth in the number of and the revenue driven by diverse-owned business partners. Now, he accomplishes this mission via creating marketplace awareness of IBM's partner world benefits, IBM thought leadership, external recruitment opportunities, and sales enablement assets for IBMers and IBM business partners. So as they present their panel discussion with you today and walk through their webinar with you all today, I want you to make sure to use the chat feature for any questions that you may have for Ralph and for Lisa. And then also let us know what the name of your business is and let us know about your social media handles, what area of business that you operate in so that we can better understand how we can serve you. Also, as they begin their panel discussion, I'll ask them to share more about their experience and their public credentials. Ralph and Lisa, how are you today?
Better than ever, Phil. Thank you so much for this great opportunity.
It's nice to be here, Phil. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. Well, let's get you all started. I'll turn it over to you for the remainder of the webinar.
Fantastic. Thanks, Phil. And Lisa, if you don't mind, let me take it from the top and talk about a little bit more about what IBM is. So I'm going to share our screen and hopefully everyone can see that. What is IBM today? Well, first of all, it's a catalyst. And if you haven't worked with IBM recently, what you'll find is that we're not what we started off as, international business machines. We're all about artificial intelligence, hybrid cloud, and the connectors that help the world work better. In addition to that, it's all about thought leadership. No company on earth has had more patents generated every year for marking now the 29th straight year. So much of what you do and use in your daily lives, whether it's your mobile phones and the intelligence within them, IBM has touched and is probably a part of that. Whether you scan your groceries at the supermarket, IBM and IBMer invented that way back in 1974, I believe. So that's what IBM is, but then it becomes even bigger than that. it becomes an ecosystem of more than 50,000 business partners around the world. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Who is IBM? Well, Phil, I want to thank you for giving that great introduction. And you talked about some of the landmark efforts that IBM has had with diversity, equity, and inclusion since before its founding, way back in 1911 and even in 1899. And you mentioned several things about that. And here in the middle of this slide, you can see the website that you can go to see in detail so many of the truly groundbreaking efforts that IBM has been a part of. Way back in 1914, 76 years before the Americans with Disabilities Act, we hired our first employee with a disability, and it became historical from then on. And Lisa, as part of our greater team at IBM, is on the supplier diversity side. Well, that started, as Phil mentioned, way back in 1968, more than 50 years ago. I'm not sure how many of us even used the word diversity back then. So it really is an unusual situation, and it's not anything new that we've been doing. And we thought that the next logical step would be to really follow the words of our current CEO and chairman, Arvind Krishna, when not only did he state about the importance of upholding the value of diversity and inclusion and equity, because that'll make IBM a better and stronger company, but also committing to building with a growing ecosystem of partners, an enduring hybrid cloud platform, serving as the catalyst for innovation. So this starts at the top and goes all the way through our organization. And so when we talk about suppliers, I'm not going to say versus partners, but suppliers and partners. And we have many companies who work with us on both levels. So it's not an either or by any means. But when you talk about an IBM supplier, just to clear the air, because sometimes there is some confusion, understandably, about what this is. What is the difference between a supplier and a partner? Well, IBM suppliers sell their goods and services to IBM, primarily for IBM consumption, whereas an IBM partner really works with us to sell, embed, or deploy IBM technologies for their clients' consumption. So we would work with a business partner, for instance, to sell to an end client together jointly. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. So one of the things that I feel best about is this role at IBM. On virtually a daily basis, I get to work with our business partners, and Lisa's going to be able to talk about on the supplier side in just a moment, but work with the leaders of these businesses, whether they be sole proprietors on up in terms of size of company. But that's really irrelevant when it comes to opportunity, because there's opportunity starting small and working your way up from there. And Lisa has said, one of my favorite lines of all time is that every company started off as a small company. So I think it's the way you perceive yourself more than anything on what the opportunity can be for your business. So what is IBM Partner World, that Partner World program that IBM has on a global basis? Well, it is a connected ecosystem of business partners that has enormous resources to leverage. So you can connect with other partners and work together to jointly fill the capabilities gaps that one or more partners may have, work together to jointly co-sell to an end customer or client. And you may not directly even involve IBM at that point, but you can also leverage partners of all sizes for their technical marketing and selling resources to co-create and accelerate your own time to value. You can also go on another aspect, and that is really leveraging your own business credentials, where you can take training to be certified in specific technologies that are high in demand, be it cybersecurity, blockchain, and so many others that you're hearing about and I'm sure working with every day, to credentialize your staff and to industry standard achievement levels, and leverage that as a selling tool for yourself as you work with prospective clients and customers. So there's a ton of resources, and I'm only scratching the very surface of that, but it's really for accelerating the journey, number one, to hybrid cloud and AI. And let me tell you that also, we're going to get into just a little bit about what hybrid cloud is and some of the other phrases that you're hearing so much about today, like multi-cloud and others. And there may be some question out there. And again, we encourage you to ask questions. Feel free to post them in the chat or whatever platform you're using currently to watch this program, and we'll be able to answer them at the end of this discussion. So the ecosystem has been transforming, and this year has been as dramatic as ever, where, as you can see in the upper right quadrant of this slide, a quarter of all partners will change focus, alter direction, be acquired, and or stop operating in 2022, according to an external analyst, IDC. That's a very current statement, and this is playing out to be, in fact, very true. But partners of all sizes and types, and we're going to talk about those types of partners too, are transforming to respond to the demands of their prospects and really begin to differentiate themselves. What is the compelling reason for a customer or a client to select you? That's what you need to have in mind every day. And hopefully we can work together to articulate that better for your organization, so you do have those tactical, demonstrable, compelling reasons to select you. And so it not only in terms of specialization in terms of capabilities, but also leveraging certain off-the-shelf products and leveraging the current digital marketplaces that you've heard so much about, AWS, IBM's, Red Hat, et cetera, and taking advantage of those and really accelerating in a much more straightforward way than in the past, your time to value and driving your very real revenue growth, no question about it. In addition to that, let's get a little bit deeper into how you can work with IBM. And it's really at the highest level, 3 different ways to be a business partner with IBM. And that is, number one, to build. So say your organization builds technology solutions, software development, whatever the case may be. Well, you are able to work with IBM. So if there is potentially a gap in your capabilities and you could really use some IBM blockchain technologies amongst the best in the world, cybersecurity, AI across the board, across several different areas. So I wouldn't separate AI as its own technology, because IBM embeds artificial intelligence throughout its portfolio, and or cloud services. And if you embed any or all of those products into your product, still brand it your own name, don't even have any IBM branding on it, that would be a build partner where you leverage our technologies to enhance the value of your own that you create. In addition to that, and again, it's not an either or in this way either, you can be a build, service, and sell partner, or any of those 3, and change that relationship at any time also. So if you provide value-added services to help deploy IBM technologies, for instance, migrate one of your customers more to the cloud, create a multi-cloud environment for them, those services you provide would be another way to work as a business partner with ours. And then as a seller, you can also resell IBM products to those customers and reap lucrative margins with them, and learn how you can grow your revenue with IBM by generating those kinds of margins. So this is a little bit of a busier slide here, but if you look on the left side in terms of channel margin discounts, there as a business partner, you are able to leverage just on the software side, let alone the hardware systems or infrastructure, as we call it, side. You can leverage a catalog of more than 16,000 software products, many of which are free to use with no time limit. So it's not just a free trial. I mean, it's free software. And you can leverage that and help your customers and clients become more digitized in their own business transformations and make incredible margins on some of the products that you do sell to them. So you can see on the right side there that upwards of 49%, 50%, even and more can be some of the margins, very dramatic margins on some of these products that you can leverage. And those are really some of the ways that you can immediately get up to speed. Again, reselling these products, becoming an IBM partner that is at no cost to you, by the way. I want to make sure everyone's completely aware of that. And if you say, well, wait a minute, I'm already a Microsoft Azure partner, I'm already an AWS, a Google partner, whomever. Well, I can also tell you that IDC, that same external analyst that I mentioned earlier, has also talked about the fact that companies tend to have, on average, 11 business partnerships, because there's always going to be those capability gaps, portfolio gaps in a particular partner's line of products and services. So there's no reason why you can't be partners of all of them and leverage it as you go to sell to your clients and customers, to say, and the way I like to put it is that IBM has chosen us to partner with to sell XYZ products to you. So it's not just saying that you're an IBM partner, it's IBM has chosen to work with you. And that's really what it is. And so it has everything to do with how much you leverage and what you leverage as you build your business. So from there, you've got to think about why you should join Partner World, as in addition to or as opposed to some other one. Well, I just talked about some of the ways that some of the ones that you might be already a part of, and I talked about some of the benefits. But digging a little bit deeper, you can see on the right side there, the channel company CRN, really the premier channel website analyst, et cetera, and they've got many different services. They have selected IBM's Partner World program once again in 2022 as their 5-star partner program winner. And so what we're finding is that the credentialization opportunities that you have that I mentioned, we've also got something that is unique to the technology industry, and that is an external business partner directory. So wouldn't you say that just getting awareness of your business out there in the marketplace is one of your biggest challenges without investing all of your budget on marketing and advertising, right? Well, IBM has a global website that is available to anyone. You don't have to be an IBM customer or partner or whatever the case may be. Anybody can sign on to this external partner directory and literally look for business partners, not only by name, not only by technology areas of cybersecurity or whatever the case may be, but they can look at it by diverse company ownership. They can look at a US-based Black, woman-owned, veteran-owned, disabled-owned business. We are the only ones, to my knowledge, that has any kind of partner directory capability like that. And this website literally gets thousands of hits every month. So those are some of the reasons to take advantage of joining Partner World at no cost. In addition to that, I just mentioned marketing and advertising costs. IBM has plenty of opportunity to leverage our co-marketing support. And so what that is a bunch of pre-built digital campaigns, marketing campaigns that you can take advantage of, that IBM will pay for half the cost. Even in some cases, 100% of that marketing cost will be funded by IBM. So again, as a business partner, there are several co-marketing programs as we speak that I can help you direct to. And that low barrier to entry, that no cost access, as I mentioned, to those 16,000 plus software products, whatever the case may be, gives you tons of opportunity to build your business in ways that many people have not even been aware of, quite frankly. And I can be your face for that. And I'll give you my contact information at the end here. So depending upon what type of business you are and what type of business you work with, so whether or not you are one of these types of business partners, and if you look across the center of the screen, independent software vendors, ISVs, GSIs, all the way across, cloud service providers, the second from the right, those are some of the ones you might be more familiar with, where you buy some AWS marketplace products, of which IBM products are available on that marketplace. We've got a huge partnership with AWS as we speak, as well as others, to say the least. And then we've got distributors also that you can work directly with too. And so regardless of the type of partner you are, you can take full advantage of the products and services that make sense to you. There's nothing that is forced upon you. You don't have to buy anything, bottom line. And you can just use the fact that you are an IBM business partner to help drive your business further. So there's so many ways to approach this. So what does it mean for the Diverse Partner Initiative specifically? Well, we are that concierge style, one-on-one leveraged part of the IBM partner ecosystem that you can take advantage of. And myself and our team would be happy to work with you, have a one-on-one discussion, help you navigate. The great thing about our award-winning Partner World program is that there's so many resources. The worst thing about it is that there are so many resources, they can be hard to find in quite, being quite frank here. So we can help you find those kinds of promotions and incentives and the co-marketing that I talked about, et cetera. And as well as help guide you to become more visible on that external business partner directory that we have clients looking for on a daily basis, prospective clients. Hey, does IBM work with anybody that does this, that happens to be a Black woman-owned, service disabled veteran, whatever the case may be. And those kinds of capabilities can get you visibility that you may not be getting elsewhere. So the special part of the Diverse Partner Initiative is that it has such a high touch value, and we are seeing direct results from our business partners, again, from a sole proprietor business where it's just you, and not necessarily a startup business, by the way. We have plenty of businesses that have been around for more than a decade, more than 20 years, where there might just still be one person working, and depending upon the jobs they sell, they bring on part-time contractors to work with them, and we can help them with all of those different areas of the business. So there's quite a bit to talk about. I'm only scratching the surface, and I know that we've got a lot more to cover, and I'm going to give Lisa some time here. So what I would like to do, and I'm going to put, if it's not in there already, or if it's not on the webcast registration, I'm going to put my personal email address for you, and I don't want you to hesitate to contact me. So don't worry about necessarily even taking down any of these websites. I'm going to put it in the chat as soon as I'm done here, so you can get a hold of me one-on-one. We can set up a call, and I can take you through, number one, how to become an IBM partner at one more time, at no cost to you, and really begin to leverage, because it's a win-win for both of us. The more we can do together, the better we're both going to be doing. And again, it's the connector for you to leverage other business partners with whom you can work. In fact, it's also a mentoring program. I've connected CEOs of a less experienced company, great gal in Kansas, to another lady in Virginia, and who has been in business for almost 30 years now. And they actually have established a mentoring program too between the two of them. So they stay in constant contact. So many benefits, very tactical in nature. I've only talked about a few things here that we can help you with, but I recommend it highly. I can't think of a reason why you would not want to be a partner, let alone IBM. I would suggest Microsoft. I would suggest AWS, Google, and others to investigate their partner programs also, because it just makes sense in today's world. So with that, I think I've talked enough. Lisa, I cannot thank you for joining us today. I also want to thank the USBC for this great opportunity. Phil, you have been fabulous to work with. I look forward to working with you again in the future on this. And with that, let's talk about the supplier side of IBM and the Supplier Diversity Program that has been around since 1968. So with that, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Ralph, and thank you, Phil. Really excited to be here today. I am just going to share my screen. Great. Are you able to see my slides?
Yes.
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to jump right in because I have a lot to cover, and I'm told I have a tendency to be a little over analytical. I like to teach. My background is in supplier diversity and small business program compliance. Been very blessed to have the opportunity to work with IBM. I recently joined them in December of last year. And so I want to impart some information about our supplier diversity program, but also with a particular attention to our federal space. So I'm going to cover the objectives of the Supplier Diversity Program, and give you a little high-level overview of how the Supplier Diversity, the structure of our organization. There are two sides, global and federal. I'm going to talk about the qualification requirements for doing work in the federal government and engaging with IBM in the federal government, line opportunities for you, touching back to some of the things that Ralph focused on in terms of our federal customers and their focus for services, how to engage, not just with IBM, but how to engage with anybody in the federal space. And then I want to also cover some of our initiatives in diversity and inclusion and talk a little bit about one of success story I'm very happy about, one of our Black-owned small businesses, Voltacan, and then give you some key takeaways. All right. So I will share that, you know, as Ralph mentioned, IBM has been a part of diversity long before anybody knew what diversity was. And the objective of our Supplier Diversity Program is to go out and touch small businesses through outreach. We are specifically looking for minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, those businesses in the LGBT community, veteran and service disabled, veteran-owned, disabled companies, and historically Black colleges and universities and minority institutions. Those are also, you know, on the global side, but that is, I just want to call to your attention as, you know, specific target within the federal marketplace. We do conduct outreach. I will share with you that I am participating in the National Hub Zone Conference in Chantilly, Virginia at the end of the month. We also engage with procurement technical assistance centers across the United States. We're members of WeBank and other organizations. We make a great effort on our global and federal side to go out and outreach. We do targeted matching. So, you know, we're analyzing your capabilities. When you meet with a small business program manager with IBM, you know, they'll be upfront and honest with you on evaluating your capabilities, but they're going to try to match you with the opportunities within IBM. And we're also about, as Ralph shared, you know, leadership and mentoring. And we'll touch on a few of those programs. I want to focus on this picture for a moment here and just, you know, to say, we really are trying to help nurture relationships. We want to have the opportunity to work with you to help you differentiate, strengthen your market position, and grow and be sustainable in the marketplace. So the Global Supplier Diversity Program breaks down into two groups. The global side, which Rob mentioned, is where you are going to find opportunity in the United States of America. We work with suppliers globally in the Asian Pacific region, in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, what we call EMA, and Latin America. Within that, as Ralph said, there is first-tier suppliers where you're able to sell your commodities, services that is not limited to technology. On the second tier, those opportunities are primarily technical services, and I will share that our first-tier suppliers are often required to reach out and provide opportunity to those small and diverse businesses within our second-tier program. On the federal sector, we support the defense and intelligence industry, the civilian space, that being, for example, Social Security, NIH, Health and Human Services. We also work in the research and development areas. And in the federal opportunity space, we are focused on prime and subcontractor relationships, strategic teaming, and our relationships through our mentor-protege programs, those internal programs within IBM that are modeled after the DoD program, and those that are within certain agencies. All of our requirements across global and federal, we ask for valid socioeconomic certification. There are forms that you have to complete at time of bid. We are looking for firms with strong financials. And, you know, the biggest challenge we have is helping to demonstrate your capability and resources. And we're going to touch on that. We'll touch on relevant past performances. And you will see on this slide the link to our supplier diversity page, where you'll find contact information for all diverse program leads. So let's talk about qualifying in the federal marketplace for a moment. And I want to, you know, be transparent and set the expectation for you that, you know, we're driven by our customers in the federal space. We all know that if you're not familiar with SAM.gov, you do need to be registered in SAM. It is a system for award management. It changed over in 2012 from the CCR. And this is the place where government, large primes like IBM, and other small businesses looking for teaming partners can go and identify you by your socioeconomic category, your size structure, and see who you're supporting in the federal marketplace. Having 3 years of revenue in the federal market is a plus. You do have to have a valid US location to be able to bid on US federal contracts. We are looking for companies with prime federal contracts, but those who have federal subcontracts are welcome as well. Purchasing vehicles with GSA, if you're on the 8A stars or other multiple award or single award contract vehicles within GSA. The Navy has set aside programs as well as NIH, NASA, and others. We are always looking for those who are carrying those contract vehicles because it helps us to align you to opportunities where those particular contract vehicles are called out. Relevant past performance. In other words, your past performance needs to be relevant to the size, scope, and complexity of the work. Also, when you're presenting your past performance and references to IBM, let it be relevant to what you actually do. So in that vein, if you do cloud services, give relevant past performances and references where you do cloud. If you do AI, if you provide cybersecurity, give us the points of contact and individuals that we can call and ask questions. If you have a CCR, we're looking for you to include that as well. We have a high standard of requirements for federal compliance and systems and operations, including CMMC certification, having a compliant audit, a financial system that must be DCAA compliant. We're looking for your technology certifications. And Ralph mentioned earlier, your technology partners, whether it's IBM or Amazon AWS, whomever you're working with, whatever other services you're aligning, because there are always gaps in capability that we can leverage. We want to know what your plans are for your employee retention and growth. Again, performance is key. For large businesses who are engaging with IBM, and we do look at diverse large businesses, we have a flow down requirement for participation when FAR 52219 is included in our contracts. So if you are a large business and you're approaching IBM, we'd like to see where you've demonstrated past support of the small and diverse community. Clearances are a plus. You're not always going to have them, but we can explain and how you gain clearances. IBM does have a clearance. We do not share it. So when we are pursuing things in the federal marketplace, our partners need to have a clearance, and you must not appear on the debarment list that is in SAM. All right. So there are 3 primary pillars within IBM, with our US government customers who are our largest customers. They are focused on cloud applications and innovation, cognitive process transformation and automation, and digital strategies, and that includes AI and cloud. We do a lot of work in the health industry within NIH, HHS, the VA. We do services and systems in support of the DoD, which is Army, Navy, Air Force, as well as civilian groups. A big focus have been on hybrid cloud and cognitive enterprise solutions and ERP transformation. And also I will mention human capital management and supply chain management have come up as well. So let's talk about engagement real quick. The biggest thing is knowing your customer, knowing who you're approaching, and knowing your business. So I'm going to talk about knowing your business. You know better than anybody what it is you really do. You know the number of employees you have to support the development of proposals, doing outreach, and the sustainment of work. Some work can be as little as 2 months. Some work could be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. So you have to have a plan when approaching any organization. Is how are you going to sustain the work and for that client? And that is a big focus with our federal customers. In terms of IBM, on our website, I saw in the chat a lot of people said that they didn't know about our diverse program, but have you been to our website? I will tell you there is a lot of information, including the links to the Partner World and the IBM startup programs there. And there is a section on our public website about our initiatives with the government. Go there and see what we're doing. And so when you're bringing your strategies to us, you're going to put your focus on your core capabilities on what it is that you do. So we have, I'm gonna switch gears here because, oh, here they go. All right. So I've said this and I apologize that I'm stuttering. I want to do a good job. I'm just a little nervous. I want to be quick. We want you to differentiate your technical value. We want you to tell us about the relationships you have. We're going to tell you about the relationships we have, but that helps you to align and know where we're talking to the same people. You may be pursuing some of the same opportunities. And one of the things I'm going to say is, sometimes bring something to the table. Don't always worry about asking for an opportunity. You might have something you're trying to pursue. Our IBM sales leads are there. They're interested in what you're bringing that may be the same things they're pursuing, where they might be looking for strategic partners in the small business space. All right. So really quickly, I want to focus on some of our initiatives within the federal space. And one of the things I really want to talk about and that I'm very, very, very proud of since joining IBM is our commitment to diversity and inclusion. We have been focused on maximizing opportunity and participation for small business concerns. We've been recognized by the National Minority Supplier Development Council. And one of IBM's initiatives is called Embrace. And as part of that initiative, we have the IBM Federal Pledge 15 program, which is our commitment based on IBM's corporate commitment to increase spend with Black-owned business by 15% by 2025. We are really, truly focused and invested in that. I'm going to go over some of the programs that we have in that initiative. All right. So within our Pledge 15 program, we have Access and Accelerate. That is where we have candidates that are introduced to IBM account and service line leaders, where we try to align and show where there's synergy for the two to get together and then provide enhanced solutions to our government customers as teaming partners in a prime subcontractor scenario, or where maybe the small business is the lead and IBM is the subcontractor to them. The objective is to give Black-owned small businesses support in viable pursuits for a 3-month period in order to build their sustainable relationships and expand their position in the marketplace. The service line program consists of one-on-one alignments with the CEOs of IBM and our sales leads, for example, individuals like Ralph Jacobson and others with Black-owned firms to give them opportunity to work collaboratively on strategic capture management in pursuit of targeted business opportunities specific to IBM and our service line leaders' areas of focus. And then we have our mentor protege programs. IBM has graduated 23 firms. This is at the end of our 2020 year. We assessed in our DoD mentor protege program specifically. We also have mentor protege programs with NIH, DHS, and other organizations. We have talked about the Equal Access Program and the IBM Startup Program and the Diverse Partnership Program. Those first three, Access and Accelerate, the Service Line Partnership, and the Mentor Protege, that is, it is a long walk, but it is a long walk to results, and it was very successful. We are supporting many organizations through Access and Accelerate. These are some of the companies that are currently engaged with us in that program. We have federal mentor proteges, Platinum Technology, Simple Technology Solutions. I am currently supporting Trilogy and their IBM relationship with our Department of Justice team. And we have our service line partner programs, and these companies have all these two have been successfully engaged, and then with Breakforce and 4, their opportunities are forthcoming. We also work with staffing firms and what we call consolidators. They consolidators work on a global basis, supporting payment processes of invoices and purchase orders for IBM and our customers. So I'm going to get to a success story really quick, and I'm about to wrap up. We talked about taking advantage of these programs, and I want to speak very highly of Eric Ellwacker, who originally came to IBM and really did not have a lot of federal experience, but I'm going to tell you what Eric did. Eric went to the startup program. He went to Partner World. He leveraged aligning his solutions with the resources through those programs so that he could offer more to his customers. He has been consistent and engaging and taking guidance from our SBLO team and reaching out to federal customers. We have aligned him not only with individuals within IBM, and he has earned a contract with our Texas team, but we've also aligned him with other small businesses who have experience in the federal space. You know, mentorship is not only limited to large businesses. There are a lot of very successful small companies out there with lots of federal experience. And through a relationship with a small business partner, Eric got his first federal subcontract, and that is a great achievement. He is in the IBM Equal Access Program, and I'm happy to say most recently, Eric has been named as a service line partner. So what are the key takeaways here? You know, we talked about knowing your business, knowing IBM and our customers, making sure that, you know, you are compliant. If you have questions and want to learn more about the federal acquisition regulations and how to read them, you need alignments with SBA, the DoD Spectrum Program for CMMC certification and training, or any other resources. I will provide my contact information. I'm here to help. We talked about having demonstrated work product because that is a focus for our customers and for IBM. We have to show and prove that the work has been executed. And so we need you to bring a demonstration of your work product to the table for our customers. Demonstration of your capacity to sustain the work effort. What differentiates you? Bring opportunity that you can engage with IBM and with being strategic, you know, being focused on relationships, staying engaged, not just, you know, looking for IBM to call you, but call us. We want to know what's going on. We want to get updates. Many of our small businesses, I talk to them several times a week. It's not always me talking, reaching out to them, but they do call me. They call for advice. They call and ask questions. We're here to help and give you guidance. That's very important. We want you to be ethical and honest. We also want you to be patient with us and with you. The journey in the federal market is a long one, but it is worthwhile, and we are here to help you be successful so that you can be a successful partner with IBM. Last but not least, I'm going to rehash some of the things about why focus on IBM. You know, we are here to help our clients with solutions, and we are a proven expert in technology, and we are really committed in our focus to engage and help small and diverse businesses. I will tell you, in a federal space, we average 60 to 65% small business spend, and you know, we couldn't do that without you. So I thank you for participating in this webinar today, and I'm here to ask questions. And this is our contact information. My counterpart, Mary Helen, who is part of the federal supply team. You send your capability statements directly to us, ask questions, and we will respond to you. We are here to help, and thank you.
And FYI, Lisa, I just posted in the chat here on the Zoom meeting for those dialed into Zoom, both your and my contact information also.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So Philip, I think we can open it up for questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Ralph. Thank you so much, Lisa. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm getting ready to come back on screen. This has been an amazing session. There have been so many great comments posted in the chat. So many people have asked a couple of questions, and I'll go through a couple of them in a moment. One of the things that popped up is we have someone named Martin O'Shield who says that they are a business partner, and they just started on yesterday with IBM. They had heard great things about the program, and they just wanted to share a little bit, and I'll just kind of read some of their comments. I'm a business partner, and I just started yesterday. I was notified that I've been accepted to a Black Entrepreneur Program so I could prospectively utilize them to obtain clients for my combination IBM Windy City SDR product. So that was a really good testimonial there that, came from this. But we also had some questions that came in, and I want to read just a couple of them to you all, and you all let me know what that response is going to be. So one says, greetings from Atlanta, Georgia. They're a chief data officer at Inclusion Score, and they've developed a SaaS tool to automate ISO 34015. How can they become a part of the IBM Supplier Diversity or Diverse Partner Initiative?
Well, it could potentially be both. And I think we'd have to go, at least for myself, I think I'd have to go into more of a discussion on where they're focused right now. And it could also be potentially a supplier relationship on top of that. But I'd love to hear more. And maybe, again, if they can just reach out to me via that email address, I'd love to have a little bit deeper conversation on that, because I'm not positive which would be the best direction for them to go. I'm pretty confident that it would make sense for them to at least apply to become an IBM business partner. Not sure of the supplier side, but I can even help them with at least getting a little bit more grounded in a direction that they could go to with just a little bit more information. So I think a further conversation, and I'm all ears. Please shoot me an email or connect on LinkedIn or whatever's easiest, and we can set up a discussion on that to talk that through. So I don't feel totally confident in answering that right now without knowing just a little bit more about the direction of their company.
Yes,
okay,
and
great.
I was just going to say, and I'm going to ask if you would email me, and that's real easy, lisa.king@ibm.com, your capability statement, and give me an overview of where are you currently engaged. Are you engaged federally? Are you engaged at the state municipal level? Are you doing any competitive acquisitions? Or are you strictly in the commercial space? And I will be glad to have a talk and provide you some guidance.
Definitely. Fantastic.
All right, great. Thank you for that. And then just a couple of comments in between time. There's a couple of great job, Ralph and Lisa's. There were a couple of folks that were excited to see Volticon. So lots of great comments coming in. This next question is about certifications. Does the ACDBE, MBE, or DBE certifications support businesses in the partner program?
So here's some really good news, and I'm not going to broadcast this outside of this discussion, but because the IBM Diverse Partner Initiative, so not supplier diversity with Lisa, but the Diverse Partner Initiative is really on the ground floor. We are not requiring certifications as we speak in order to be a part of the program. So are we working with external organizations, certification organizations, WeBank, NMSDC, et cetera, et cetera? Yes, we do work with them. But for right now, the IBM Diverse Partner Initiative is not requiring certifications. We're taking your word for it that it's a diverse-owned business. And for right now, again, shoot me an email and we can connect and talk this through even more, that I think it's even more streamlined for you to become an IBM business partner than perhaps even in the future where you may have to certify. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, and I think it does. I think this next question comes to us. really quickly from a real estate brokerage firm. How can service-based businesses take advantage of this opportunity?
Well, I'm only going to answer from the partner side because I think Lisa might have some thoughts from the supplier and federal sides. I can say that the business partners of IBM are not strictly limited to technology companies, technology providers, technology consultants or anything like that. There are marketing companies and all types of service industries that are business partners. I think what we'd have to do is find out with whom you work. Is there any commercial real estate business that you do inside your business, or is it all residential or something like that? But again, I'd like to talk that through on a separate call with you to see if it makes sense. And again, worst comes to worst is that we explore it together. You become an IBM business partner, and maybe you just get credentialized from there, so you can help your own business directly with certification achievements and those types of things, knowing newer technologies better that can help you leverage them within your own business. So it's not even necessarily selling anything with IBM, just taking advantage of some of the coursework that you and people with whom you work, either within or outside your organization, can leverage also. So one more time, I would leverage my email address to talk that through. Lisa, I don't know if you have specific thoughts on a real estate business.
Yes, I will say general services, public building service, GSA's public building services is the first thing that comes to mind. You would want to explore the GSA website and look at their e-schedule library, and I can set up a time to show you how to navigate that, to look at the different schedules where they offer, because there's often things for property management within that realm. But again, that's the other thing too, is looking for the NAICS codes in the procurement forecasts when you're searching through SAM for opportunities that are relevant to real estate, looking at the descriptions, what they're asking for, and glad to provide and share more information on that.
Great. Thank you both for that response. I do have another question that just came into the chat, and it's asking about some of your projects. Are there any projects related to machine learning in the financial market? Our company is a fintech company of experienced developers and programmers based in the United States with global partners all the way to India with our minority firm. Now, will we have a conflict with any work visa related challenges?
Well, I was going to point you to some IBM case studies in terms of work that is done within fintech and also around machine learning, whatever the case may be, all types of AI. But if you're asking about work visas and that type of thing, I don't think I'm qualified to answer that. I've been exposed to it, but what I can do is, again, if you reach out to me with that specific question around the work visas and that type of thing, I can noodle around within IBM and we might be able to help find that answer for you. So unless, Lisa, you're more familiar with it than I am, perhaps.
No, and I would say, again, email, and, we can look at the regulations in terms of the federal acquisition space about employee requirements. I'm happy to talk to you further about that.
Awesome. And then this last question is around the Pledge 15 initiative. We built a robo-advisor that's currently running on AWS. How would this fit into the program in Pledge 15 initiative?
Well, what it is send me your capability statement about what your company does, and what it is that you offer is that's a innovation, that's a differentiator. We can talk about it and see where it fits, and then we can also look at what the different divisions, whether it's FedCiv or our defense and intelligence team, might be looking at projects where a system like that could be of use.
All right. And then this next question, is there a list of the products and services that IBM solicits?
Yes, there is. Go to ibm.com and there will be a subheading menu across the top that I believe says the word products. And it will list all the different categories of IBM products, and you can drill down into specific areas of interest from there. IBM.com, and then do the drop-down menu for products. Again, any questions navigating this, feel free to shoot me or Lisa a note on that, and we'd be more than happy to help you out.
Thank you so much for that. And more comments are coming in about the generosity of the information that you all shared today. So we definitely appreciate that. There is one more question. Today in 2022, I have the interest of a federal agency around a tech solution that I recently presented within the last 2 weeks before the medical device event at an exhibition. It's a next generation MRI system that he can get working with IBM. So their question is, I'm interested in your program today, and in 2016 was accepted into the IBM Global Entrepreneur Program in San Francisco. Would I be eligible for your program mentioned today, or would I be ruled out because I've already participated in your entrepreneur program?
Are you specifically referring to Pledge 15, or are you speaking about the Partner World program?
For Partner World and for Pledge 15.
You definitely, barring any other issues, you definitely still be eligible for the Partner World program. Lisa, on the Pledge 15?
On the Pledge 15 side, I would have to investigate on medical equipment. That doesn't always come up, but I am really happy to talk to you. And if you would email me your capability statement, I will sit down and have, we'll have a strategic and transparent conversation. I'm going to put you on the right path.
All right, and I'm just scanning around looking for a couple more questions. It looks like we captured everything. The other questions came in for me. Will we get a copy of this presentation? Yes, this webinar is being recorded, and we'll make sure to redistribute it to all the folks that have watched with us today, because there was a ton of information that came through from both Lisa and Ralph. I want to make sure that we get that information out to you all so that you can study it and get ready for any opportunities that may come down the pipe with IBM. Ralph, Lisa, are there any other remarks that you want to share with our audience before we close things down?
Lisa, go ahead if you've got some.
Ladies
first for once.
I want to say very grateful for the opportunity to engage with everyone. I really do want to help people to grow and learn. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And again, you can email me. It's not always going to be about IBM. So I'm going to say, 25 plus years in the competitive acquisition space. I started off in your shoes, working for a small minority firm, and learned a lot. And that's what helped elevate me to where I am today. And I want to help you be better and help you grow. And that's really what we're about in terms of our global supplier diversity team.
No, that's fantastic, and I echo this sentiment completely. I come from a diverse background, being born and raised on the south side of Chicago by my mom, God rest her soul, a single mom of 4 children. I've got 3 older sisters, so I've been around only women all my life. So I've got a lot of sympathy there too, and a very diverse family, to say the very least. I can also tell you that I've done extensive work with small and medium businesses, as well as very large companies. I've owned a small business myself, so we can talk about experiences, and that's what I enjoy most doing with this particular role is working with all of you, the business leadership of today, and talking about how people have gone through tough times. All of us, good to hear that we are all still around after the last couple of years of world craziness. And just that in itself is an accomplishment, because I know it's been a struggle for all of us. So thank you all for your time. I cannot implore enough to definitely don't hesitate for any reason to reach out. Even if you're not sure of how to work with IBM, shoot one or both of us a line, and we'd be more than happy to set up a call to talk it through. And the only question I've got, Phil, obviously we've got our email addresses posted on Zoom, and for those listening on Facebook and any other platforms, they'll have the contact information, I would assume, also, right?
That is correct, Ralph. We'll make sure to distribute that information to all.
Fantastic, Phil. Perfect. What a great organization to work with. Phil makes it too easy.
Yes, he does.
Uh,
And thank you so much. This has just been a wonderful experience.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. And one more time, I just want to reiterate and tell everyone why we're so proud of this partnership, that IBM commitment to racial equality, diverse business practices, it's top shelf, and we definitely appreciate their partnership. So on behalf of our president, Ron Busby, our board and our staff, I want to thank you all for registering to attend and for being very vocal and sharing your questions and your comments and your thoughts. Until next time, we'll see you at USBC. Thank you all.